Today on Engines with Eric, we're going to talk about one of my personal favorites, the LS7. And if you've never heard this thing scream 6,000 RPM on YouTube, you have to look it up because those noises are just the pinnacle of V8. At 427 cubic inches and 505 horsepower, this was one of the most powerful naturally aspirated engines General Motors has ever built. Yes, I did say that right. This is a 427 cubic inch small block V8. So it's derived from the LS family of motors, but using a lot of the knowledge that they gained over time with the C5R racing team. And what they came up with was the LS7. This is basically a race motor that they derived for the street so you and I could go buy one. This engine makes 505 horsepower and 470 foot-pounds of torque, or 481 in another application that we'll get to here in a minute. This is an all-aluminum V8, and it still utilizes push rods. No dual overhead cam, no nothing like that. This is an old-fashioned push rod V8. Other notable features of this engine were the dry sump oil system, which is race-derived, titanium connecting rods and intake valves, and it also used a steel-forged crankshaft to help contain and make all of them horse ponies. There were only ever two cars that got the LS7 engine, and one of them, as you've seen a bunch of pictures of so far, is the C6 Z06 Corvette, and they made those cars from 2006 to 2013. These cars were, and still are, horsepower per dollar-wise, a bargain. Now, $65,000 got you a brand new Z06 Corvette back in 2006, and even today, these cars are give or take 30 to 40 grand, depending on mileage and where you find it and condition and stuff like that. And for the performance, it's hard to beat this car. 0 to 60 was about 3.7 seconds. Quarter mile was 11.7. They could go almost 200 miles an hour, and it competed with almost everything whenever they first came out. It really put the world on notice that the Corvette and General Motors were not messing around anymore. So what was the other car? It was actually the Camaro that got the LS7 engine, and it was the Z28 variant of the Camaro that got this motor. This car actually was fast enough with that engine to beat the Corvette Z06 at the Nürburgring, and it commanded about 55 grand price tag new from the factory. Now, one note about this car, this was a stripped Camaro. This thing didn't have any options on the inside of it, barely had an interior. This was specifically meant to be a Camaro race car. So looking this up, I actually got curious as to how many of each car they made, and they actually made roughly 28,000 Corvettes and 1,800 Camaros. Now, that's not a lot, and if you're like me and want one of the most iconic sounding engines and one of the coolest naturally aspirated motors of all time, the LS7 is going to get expensive if you can't get your hands on one pretty soon.